Hot glue is used to create a bond between two materials quickly using melted silicon. To use a hot glue gun, first plug it into a 120-volt socket, away from flammable or heat-sensitive material. Wait approximately 5 to 10 minutes for the tip to gain sufficient heat. If the stick being used is too short to operate, insert a new glue stick into the gun, behind the stick in place. Dispense the hot glue by pulling the trigger. Guide the glue before it cools with the tip. Before moving your project, let the glue cool for a few seconds. Be careful around flammable materials when using a hot glue gun. Don't touch the metal tip or hot glue, as it will severely burn your skin. When not using it, make sure something is under the tip to catch drips of hot glue so that it doesn't ruin the surface you are working on. The drill press is used to drill holes of different sizes in wood that could not typically be drilled by a hand drill. To use the drill press, first you must make sure to clamp down the piece of wood that is going to be drilled into. Next, you need to tighten the drill bit with the chuck key so that it doesn't spin off. Then turn the press on and slowly push down the handle to start pushing the drill bit into the wood. Make sure not to go too fast, as the bit can get stuck into the wood and mess up the machine. Once the hole has been made, slowly move the handle up so that the drill bit comes out of the wood. Finally, turn off the drill press and use the chuck key to take out the drill bit from the press. The bandsaw is used to make straight, long cuts in thicker metal or wood. However, steel requires a steel cutting bandsaw. The machine can also be used to make large circular cuts in thicker materials. The first step to use this tool is to turn the saw on and let it run for a few seconds to make sure that it is working properly. Then grip the piece of material you want to cut tightly and slowly push it towards the blade. When making circular pieces, you can use a circle cutting jig. Do not twist the piece sharply because you could break the blade. Keep your hands away from the blade and use a push stick when making cuts close to the edges of your piece. Do not cut steel on a wood cutting bandsaw. Steel cutting bandsaws need to run slower in order to cut through the thicker material.
The purpose of the meter saw is to make cuts through bars and planks of soft metal or hardwood, such as 2x4s. Compound versions can make angled cuts, but most are for 90-degree cuts. To use a meter saw, mark where the cut should be, and if using a compound meter saw, set the saw at the appropriate angle. Align the saw blade with the mark and account for the width of the blade when it cuts through the wood. Hold the piece tightly against the backboard, and double-check the piece and saw blade. Then pull the trigger and move the blade down. For safety, don't grip the piece within about 5 or 6 inches of the cutting area. If the piece is smaller than 5 to 6 inches, don't use the meter saw. Don't press the trigger before you intend to cut, and never move the piece while cutting. The electric hand drill is meant to drill holes of different diameters with ease. Before using the hand drill, you should always clamp the wood you want to drill into over a second piece of wood in order to prevent the drill from drilling holes in the table. Before turning the power on, be sure the drill bit is screwed into the drill tightly. Mark the center of the hole you want to drill and place the drill on the mark perpendicular to the wood. If the drill is rotating the correct direction to drill into the wood, pull the trigger and drill to the desired depth. When finished, back the drill out and unclamp your work, making sure that everything is cleaned up as you finish. To reiterate, always keep in mind safety when working.